Hello there. Sorry for being tardy. I kind of have an excuse. It's not a great excuse, but I have an excuse. So it looks like I will get to be interviewed on a software developer podcast talking about mindfulness, meditation, and writing software. So that's super cool. I don't know when that's going to happen just yet, but I am I'm likely to be a guest, which is really cool, given that I'm sort of like in the software world. I am like very much a person of no rank. Like, so the idea that I'd end up on a podcast is a significant delight. So yeah, so there's that. So I'm a little discombobulated. I also forgot to do my little intro at the top. Great to see Gabrielle checking in. Awesome that you could make it. Sorry for the wait. Angie and Jill, so great that you can make that as well. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Andrew Leonards. I am a certified mindfulness meditation coach in the Unified Mindfulness System. You can find out more about by going to unifiedmindfulness.com. I am many things, which maybe a podcast guest will be one of the things I get to add to that list of many things. But I am not a trained, licensed mental health professional, social worker, and/or any of those other things. I have been meditating for 10 years, so I've done a lot of things wrong when it comes to meditation, but yeah, so hopefully I can help share in what didn't work and what has worked for me today. So what we normally do as a structure is, so if you've ever been to the Do Nothing Project, Jeff Warren, who started the Do Nothing Project, he does 25-minute sits. The topic is always a rotating topic, but he always ends with a gratitude practice or friendliness, or sometimes he'll use the term nurture positive. Nurture positive is a term that Shinzen Young uses, and it's also something that comes out of the terminology, the Unified Mindfulness terminology. So what I'm playing with as a format for these afternoon idols is contrasting doing something with doing nothing. So there's and really ultimately the practice, our practice, sort of is the in between of that, sort of the expansion and contraction of being spaced out and being really focused and kind of being in the middle of that. So I offer these contrasts as a way to begin to do what Jeff talks about, is to kind of be your own teacher, or to be a mind-body DJ. And what I'm, at least in chatting with Jeff and hearing Jeff talk about that, what that means in essence is being a mind-body DJ. A DJ really, in essence, has the ability to read the room at a party and then play the right song at the right time, or the ability to match the music with the vibe, or to begin to create that. So in these contrast sits, I want to play around with the something side of the meditation world and contrast it with nothing. And so that's kind of the format I'm kind of trying to play with. And it allows me to goof around with different ideas in a given week and play with different things. Although I've toyed with the idea of doing the same technique for 5 days in a row, because really you're whenever you sit down, you're sort of living the Heraclitus wisdom. The Greek philosopher who said you never step in the same river twice. So when we sit, even when we do the same technique, you're sort of always your nervous system and everything is sort of alive in often a different way. May not always be or gross, like coarse grain view. Maybe it's the same, but so today I want to play around with borrowing a little from Joseph Goldstein. But my terminology for this is to abide. So, and Joseph uses this idea of sit and know that you're sitting. So really just the ability to adopt a seated posture, and then be in this seated posture and know that you're sitting. So how we decide to know that we're sitting may be a little bit like the technique we did yesterday, where it's like we're sensing the room around us. For me, what I like to do a lot of when I'm sitting and know that I'm sitting is the gravity of the body in this posture. So this I think the sit and know that you're sitting resonates with a lot of people that come to the Do Nothing Project. And that's very much, I think, kind of Joseph's take on what Jeff is usually offering from that perspective. So that's where we're headed. In my mind, I reframe that a little bit in this idea of abide. To pull in, I love, I love Jeff Bridges in general. I just think he's a really cool guy. And then two, I very much like the dude from The Big Lebowski is sort of my stand-in for what a lot of people use like the Dalai Lama for. So the dude is my sort of ideal of like being real and authentic, but also chill. So just this idea of just abiding. So we're lightly paying attention. And it's that paying attention, or the fact that we're using our attention in a deliberate, controlled way that makes it not do nothing. So sit and know that you're sitting, or I'll use the term abide as a short form label for that. So we'll just abide, and maybe that's abide in the posture. That's one, just the idea of being able to sit with the posture. Could be that weight feeling, could be the sense of the space around you. So however you want to remain in contact with that, totally fine. And then at the end, we'll shift to a do nothing practice. 15 minutes is roughly what we'll do. And then if you have questions or reports, if you have questions, I'll attempt to offer responses. Some of you ask really, really awesome questions and I don't have good answers for them. So I definitely can respond. I don't know if it'll be an appropriate answer. It's up to you to decide. But I always love hearing reports too. So it's a great little bit. So as I'll emphasize, I did yesterday, like right now, at this moment, you've succeeded. You've come to sit and you're sitting and you're ready to start your practice. That's in and of itself success. So again, I'm going to ring the bell and invite you to adopt a posture that will help you be both relaxed and alert, one that you'll be comfortable in for the next 15 or so minutes. And as we get our posture kind of in a way that's helpful, again, if you have shoulder issues or leg issues, feel free to use whatever modification needed for you to be comfortable and sit in a way that is will foster relaxed alertness. I like to think of it as evoking dignified. So it's sitting in a way that's dignified. And just checking to see if there's any tension in the body. Each of us will often hold tension, but where we hold it will vary. So what I tend to do is cycle through checking the forehead, around the eyes. I used to clench my jaw and often hold my breath while I read email and such. So I often will check with my jaw, my neck, and then the shoulders, giving them a nice tensed up and drop. And then leaning on the wisdom of the three sages from the five boroughs, the Beastie Boys, do some slow and low tempo breathing. Breathing in slow through the nose, breathing out slow through the nose, accentuating, elongating that exhale. And in doing that, the slowness of the breath through the nose will allow us to breathe into the lower portions of the lungs. And then just this very simple abiding in the posture, borrowing again from Joseph Goldstein, sit and know that you're sitting. You may find it beneficial to note the sensation that helps you be in contact with abiding or sitting and know that you're sitting. It may be beneficial to let go of a label. So, and again, you can use a label. That's totally fine. Your choice. So explore this. So when we're in this stance, it's sometimes easy to get pulled away by a sound or a distraction. So we can offer up that real matter of fact acknowledgement of that, and then bringing the attention back to the sense of sitting and knowing that you're sitting. We don't need to add anything extra, just this redirection of the attention coming back, just abiding. Okay, good. So our shift today is not a huge one. We're just gonna let go of this direction of the attention. We'll let go of that technique. And we'll shift into this choiceless awareness, or you can think of it as letting our attention be free range. So we let whatever happens happen. And if we spontaneously realize that we're trying to control or direct, if we try to add to the conversation or we try to subtract something, we drop that and let that go. So we've switched into a very passive mode. Whatever happens, happens. We're okay with that. So do nothing. So always remember, if you're struggling or you having a rough time with the do nothing part, you can always use that as an opportunity to consider shifting to a home base or a technique that you think will be more supportive of where you are right now. It's always a choice. So just remember that it's up to you. And if your eyes have been closed, I invite you to open them and connect to your surroundings at your own. Thank you so much for spending 20 plus minutes with me. I really appreciate it. I hope this was a nice little break in your day. Again, if you have any reports, always game to hear those. And then questions, like I said, I will promise to respond, but I may not have a good answer. So, and just as an aside, I guess sometimes I always feel like I need to cite where I steal everything from, so just like that. So I'm borrowing from Joseph about the sit and know that you're sitting. In the do nothing direction, I mentioned this idea of not adding or not subtracting. I'm borrowing that from a meditation teacher named Sokuzan, who teaches at the Sokokoji Monastery in Michigan, and he's part of Susan Piver's Open Heart Project. And so he has a sequence that he offers in his meditation instruction of don't add, don't subtract, don't divide, don't multiply, do no math. So, and I really love this idea of doing no math with your experience. So when we sit and do nothing, we'll notice that whatever is happening, we may begin to add to it. Or we want to subtract what is happening from what's going on, or we want to divide ourselves in a way that we're here and those thoughts that we don't want are over there. Or we may be operating in a position where we're multiplying kind of what's going on. And so this idea of sort of like doing no math, I just love it as a sort of as a slogan for that. So just to give proper reference to Sokuzan, he's a Soto Zen teacher, but has a background in Vajrayana practices. So, but I really like that. Like, don't add or don't subtract, and yeah, Jill. Yeah, math has definitely not been my strong suit, but so maybe that's we're leveraging on a common dislike of mathematics, perhaps in North American schooling. But well, if you do have if you have any suggestions, so Thursday we're gonna just play around in December with switching up the order on Thursdays. So on Thursday we'll do nothing at the beginning, and then we'll finish with something. So that's coming up. But if you have any thoughts or suggestions or things you want to play around with, I'm always game for that, because I'm kind of experimenting and playing around. It's been so I appreciate the gratitude for this, but it's been remarkably helpful for me to do a guidance every day. So I can just see a lot of benefit in that, especially I felt far more comfortable doing my guest hosting on Sunday than I did in previous times. I felt pretty comfortable, but I felt really comfortable on Sunday, and so that was I think doing this and like having this little bit has been really helpful. So yeah, so we'll switch it up, Jill, on Thursdays. So I credit you for being the motivation for that too. So we'll be a little bit of like our mini meditation technique, Sadie Hawkins. We'll switch it around. So I think Sadie Hawkins is the dance where girls ask guys, but maybe that's totally outdated and that's like that's a bad reference. So maybe I should stop using that. I won't talk about sock hops or anything else. All right, that's definitely enough. We're far into the weeds. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I will see folks maybe tomorrow, if not Thursday.